Hello, it's Nicolette, and today I wanted to walk you through my art portfolio, which was accepted to several different art schools in France. I wanted to make this video because when I was applying to art schools, I could not find examples of portfolios that hit two different criteria. Number one, a portfolio that doesn't involve painting or drawing. I primarily work in photography and film, so my portfolio didn't have any painting, any drawing in it. That is just something that I don't do. I don't have a traditional fine arts background. And at first I was concerned that that would hurt me in the application process, but I don't think it did. So if that's you, don't worry. You can still get into French art school if you have never painted or drawn in your entire life. The second thing was I couldn't find examples of portfolios of people who had entered in the middle of art school. Let me explain. Typically, French art schools are 5 years long. The first 3 years, you're working towards your DNSEP, which is basically the equivalent of an American undergraduate or bachelor's degree. The other 2 years, you're working towards your DNSEP, which is the equivalent of an American master's degree. So I already had finished an undergraduate degree in the US. I got a degree in film and television from USC. So I wanted to enter into year 4 and essentially start a master's program. Currently, I am a year 4 art student at Beaux Toulouse, which goes by isdaT, Institut Supérieur des Arts de Toulouse. But my portfolio also got accepted to École Nationale Supérieure des Arts Paris-Cergy, and Beaux-Arts Rennes and Beaux-Arts Nîmes. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the portfolio. The first thing I want to talk about is the format. Make sure when you're applying to schools that you read the criteria for the artistic supplement. Some have really strict criteria in terms of what size it can be and how many pages. Others are a little more open. Usually they want a PDF format, especially if you're applying from abroad as an international student. So for the schools I was applying to, I believe that the sizing criteria, they didn't have a specific size. They had a max file size of like how large the PDF could be, and they also had a limit of the number of pages. So I believe they asked for a maximum of 14 pieces, which is not necessarily 14 images. It could be more images because you can include multiple angles of a piece or multiple photographs from a series. And I think that the maximum number of pages, which includes like your title page, any written stuff, your resume, I think was around 28 or 29 pages. Make sure you follow any guidelines that they give for the portfolio because you don't want your first impression to be that you cannot read and follow instructions. So if there is a page limit, do not exceed it, okay? Just don't do it. I decided to make my portfolio a portrait 8.5 by 11 size. I really wanted it to look professional and clean and give a good first impression. And I felt that going with this format helped with that. You can design something like this in InDesign or Photoshop, or even you can use Google Drive. You can like create a Google Doc and add images and text and then download it as a PDF. So that's a free, easy way to put together a portfolio. I decided to include my name and information on the title sheet, but also to put an image there, one of my photographs, because I really wanted my portfolio to stand out and make an impression from the first page. This was also a tricky way to add one more piece in there by just putting it on that cover page. And I felt that this image was kind of shocking, it was sleek, it really would just kind of like be like, boom, here I am, this is me. I wanted to include an artist statement at the beginning. This is not required, but I would recommend it. The artist statement is kind of a way to introduce the jury to your work, the kind of themes that you work with, the purpose of your art, what inspires you. So I talked about how my film and commercial photography backgrounds and my undergraduate studies have influenced my artistic work and the kind of themes I explore within my photographs and my films. This is a great way to kind of set the jury up for looking at your work and giving them a specific viewpoint or lens to view your work through. You do have to write it in French, because if your classes are going to be in French, your interview is going to be in French, your portfolio needs to be in French. If this is hard for you, get a friend, find someone online to help translate your work. You can, run it through a translator and then have a native speaker check for grammar and spelling errors. I decided to open my portfolio with 2 pieces that were really poppy and colorful and linked to this idea of commercialism and advertising that I like to explore in my work and that I talked about in my artist statement. So this first piece is called Skinny, Pretty, Sexy, and it is a photographic triptych. And it explores the type of messaging and beauty standards companies use to sell products every day. For each piece, I included a short written statement. This is not required, but for my work, I felt that it could really help the jury understand the pieces a little more and show the depth of conceptual thought and themes I have when creating a piece. I then included a video piece. I wanted to make sure that right off the bat, I showed the 2 different mediums that I work in. So starting with a photography piece and then moving immediately to a video piece that is still kind of stylistically and thematically linked to the first piece. This piece is called Pink, 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 and it is a short video that explores the color millennial pink that is often used in a lot of brands and advertising campaigns. It is kind of this almost Ryan Tricarton world of this fake influencer that essentially overdoses on millennial pink. It's very dark, but it's also a little fun and very much the tone of a lot of my work. So I felt that this piece showed my technical skills in video, but it also overall showed my style and thematic interests. I also included some photography series. I included a portrait series called Flower Boys, which explores toxic masculinity and gender norms. I had a photography series including really sugary food that kind of mixed commercial photography and influences of still life painting. I also included a documentary photo series called Our Bedroom, which was a series of girls in their bedrooms in Los Angeles that explored ideas of solitude and privacy and body image. I wanted to really show the range and type of photography that I do. So I thought including this documentary series was a good choice to pair with the more kind of commercial studio shot stuff that I have also done. I wanted to also make sure to include film photography to show that I had the technical capabilities and experience of working with film and developing photos in a darkroom. So I included this series of photos that I shot on medium format film and developed in a darkroom. I also included 2 other video pieces, one that was a little more artsy and experimental, which explored body image and social media. I also included a more narrative piece since the majority of the work I did at USC was narrative filmmaking. So I included a film called Shoot, which takes place in the 1960s, and it's about this model who finds this kind of temporary psychedelic freedom in the middle of a photo shoot. But it also has layers of exploring the male gaze and how that plays into photography and the world of fashion. I also included a couple sculptural pieces because I wanted to show that I have the capabilities and the interest in exploring mediums outside of film and photography. I made these pieces specifically for this portfolio to show that I wanted to start exploring other mediums, and that is one of the reasons why I applied to art schools. At the end of the portfolio, I included a resume, which included previous work experience in film and photography. I included any artist residencies or workshops that I attended, as well as any publications of my photography and any group exhibitions I've been in. If you don't have a really long resume, don't panic, don't worry. That's why you're applying to art school. You're gonna grow your resume in school. I personally took several years off after my undergraduate degree to have jobs, to apply to group shows, to go to residencies. So I had a couple years to build up my resume before applying to master's programs. So if your resume is not that long, don't worry. I hope that was helpful. If it was, please give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you want other videos about the application process, about the interview process, anything like that, let me know. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching and good luck with your applications. Au revoir.